Today we're going to visit 6 gorgeous gardens in the city of Riverside, known as the City of Arts and Innovation, east of Los Angeles, California. These beautiful gardens were open to the public for just one weekend through the Riverside Community Flower Show Garden Tour. All of these gardens embrace the 2026 theme of Garden Party, and they all invite visitors to celebrate the beauty of nature. This garden is known as Jardin Curiosa and is located in the historic Wood Street neighborhood of Riverside. This is a traditional cottage garden created with an informal abundance of flowers, herbs, and vegetables. You'll see some edible nasturtium on the right side and a beautiful salvia on the left. I love that fountain, makes the garden, anchors the garden and gives it a nice focal point. There's a nice seating area on the side yard, and I really enjoyed seeing these beautiful hyacinth beans. Yeah, these are hyacinth beans, and then a nice area for all of your seedlings. Everybody needs that. Every gardener needs a place for their seedlings. As you step into the backyard, you'll see several mature trees. The garden came with these mature trees, and they all remained with the home. The gardener had a strong desire to keep what was there and honor the family that had called this house home for many decades. So you'll see a lot of classic cottage garden favorites, roses. We saw some sweet peas earlier. Roses are doing really well this year in Southern California. They're ahead of schedule due to the heat wave that we had earlier this spring. These sunflowers will attract butterflies when they're blooming and later birds to eat the seeds. So it's a great addition to your yard. If you're trying to add more wildlife, add some sunflowers. Along with these traditional cottage favorite flowers, the gardener has also introduced the California natives. So you're going to see white sage, and there's also some holly leaf cherry that has been planted in the garden as well. That beautiful white sage on the left does produce really large flower spikes, especially as the plant develops and grows larger. That's actually, I think, a variety of kale called red boar kale. If you keep harvesting kale, it'll actually develop into a tree like that, which is pretty fun. This seems so inviting as a nice poolside retreat, and it was wonderful seeing all the different layers and textures of flowers in this garden. This beauty actually creates a stronger ecosystem for insects and other beneficial creatures by having a mixture of native and non-native plants. There is a continual bloom of flowers on this property, which helps pollinators, because with recent changes just this spring, where we experienced an extremely warm spring, and look at this beautiful hollyhock. We experienced a beautiful and very warm spring, which has brought flowers blooming weeks ahead of time, and it puts things out of sync for the native pollinators. So by having a mixture of different plants in your yard, you're ensuring that you'll help maintain that biodiversity that's really needed for these insects, because many insects, while they prefer native plants, they will also enjoy non-native plants. One example is lantana, which is something that has almost become invasive on my property, but does draw in so many butterflies that it becomes a situation where you can consider it a weed or you can keep it. And I think that most gardens are beautiful when you keep the beauty of nature intact. So nice poolside plantings give you cool ideas for container gardens. And I really enjoyed visiting this property, but we're on to our next garden, which is a garden for nature lovers and is mostly California natives. The homeowner has installed new California native plants along the edges of the property to show you exactly what can be created with just a few native plants. Some of the plantings along this border include sticky monkey flower, and we're also going to see California buckwheat. There's a nice mallow there and some deer grass. Also ceanothus in the back, white sage, more deer grass, and some more mallow as well. This lupin is beautiful, and they also included some beautiful yellow desert marigolds, which is a nice contrast to the beautiful lupin. As we enter the yard, you will see that they have some nice vegetable garden that they're getting ready for the season. It also looks like they're getting ready to keep some chickens, which is fun. And the kids loved the playground. They were all over it. And my favorite part of the yard was this beautiful pond, and with all the layered plantings and fish. It was just gorgeous to see all of the beautiful mural that was painted on the wall. And it's just a really enjoyable garden to visit. The homeowner hopes that her garden will show visitors that helping wildlife by rewilding your yard can be both beneficial and beautiful. The homeowner wants her garden to show visitors that helping wildlife by rewilding your yard can be both beneficial and beautiful. By the way, if you love this garden tour, we'll have plenty more to show you. But now we're on to our next garden, which is known as the Wldflowers Garden. And this home garden has been under construction for 22 years. The property was a blank slate when the homeowners moved in, and they decided to remove their lawn. They planted herbs, vegetables, and fruit trees. They installed raised beds for the ease of growing fruits and vegetables in a controlled environment. And you'll see that they also have some beautiful white sage and gorgeous sweet peas, which smell amazing. The homeowner has an eye for art, and she has incorporated plants into many different types of art objects and non-traditional planters throughout the garden. Using these raised beds helps a lot if you have different types of soil, especially clay soil can be hard to drain. So using raised beds can really help with homeowners who are experiencing issues with clay soil. The homeowner has a love for cacti and succulents, as you can tell, and she has collected a variety of unique specimens, and some of them are located on the back patio. But first, we're going to go up the hill and check out the view as well as the plantings along the way. As this backyard slopes upward, you'll encounter this beautiful deck, which offers a nice and beautifully shady spot to check out the view. The backyard slopes upward, and that allows the homeowner to have a beautiful view of the city of Riverside. The homeowner has also placed her art studio up to the right. That's where her art studio is, at the top of the slope, so that she has a beautiful view all the time to inspire her while she is working on her art. The homeowner has continued to add to her collection since moving into this home more than 2 decades ago, and some of these specimens are really quite large, and you can tell that they are obviously unique and well cared for. As you can tell, succulents and cacti do well in the Southern California environment, although they may actually need some shade, especially in inland areas where it gets very, very warm. But we're about to head off to our next garden on the tour. Welcome to Casa Sierra Vista, which is created by architect and impressionist landscape painter Carl Horman, who constructed Casa Sierra Vista as he traveled the Southwest and Mexico throughout the 1930s. The site is situated with an artist's eye towards capturing the best of the Southern California light and commanding views of the local mountains and the deserts beyond. You can tell that this site has been situated with an artist's eye. It captures the best of the Southern California light, as well as maintaining the majestic oaks and soaring palms. Over the last decade, the gardens have been lovingly reworked to become a haven for wildlife and a peaceful retreat that feels far away from the city that's on its doorstep. Everywhere you turn, there's something else to look at, another gorgeous plant to check out. Some of them are California native, some of them are fragrant roses. While amaryllis is a bulb that does really well indoors, here in Southern California it does well outdoors as well. You can replant your amaryllis bulbs outside and usually get some blooms. I really like how they did the woodwork on this. Really feels natural, and the sweet pea scent was absolutely amazing. You could smell it in both directions. It was amazing to experience, and I wish that we had smell-o-vision for these kind of tours. This landscape is ever changing, and as we wander these meandering paths, look at all of these beautiful materials. Many of the materials are recycled and reclaimed, and fruit trees and avocados dominate, as well as vegetables and grapes. If you love this tour, make sure that you're subscribed so you can catch up with all the most recent garden tours and some new changes that are coming to the channel. Garden number 5 is known as the Kennel Garden because it was once home to many canine friends and thereby was named the Kennel Garden. Over the past 4 decades, the garden has evolved. In my opinion, this garden was so complex, so magnificent, and had so many different twists and turns that you probably could have called it the Maze Garden, and it would have also suited it. The garden contains a variety of plantings that include redwoods that tower over 50 feet tall. We'll also see an active spring that runs through the back of the property, and that's why they have these beautiful ferns. As you can see, there's a nice footbridge that we'll go over soon, and it's just a wonderful property because of all the different layers and how much work the owners have put into their property over the past 4 decades. As we walk across this footbridge flanked by bamboo, you're going to find some uncommon trees, plants, and shrubs. But first, we're going to head past the barbecue and outdoor sink, which every gardener loves, the idea of having an outdoor sink. Like I said, this is the Maze Garden, and there were just so many paths to follow. And if you had me pick one garden on this tour that was my favorite, I couldn't really tell you because I liked all of them, and all of them were so unique. I was surprised to find this little veggie garden, but it's always great to have veggies close to your kitchen. That way you can go out and grab them, especially herbs. Herbs are the best thing to keep close to your kitchen, right outside the kitchen door. And as we look through the garden, we're going to be looking around all the different features of this garden. And one thing that's amazing to me as we reach the kennels for which the property was named, these 3 kennels, as there's just so much shade on this property, which in Southern California is very difficult to find. And while most people love the sun, once you live in Southern California, you realize that you really want to have some shade. And it really makes a big difference on those very hot days. But this was a gorgeous day to take a tour. The temperatures were wonderful, and for the most part, it threatened rain. It didn't really rain, and it was just the gorgeous gray skies that helped bring out the brilliant greens. There are the redwoods that we were talking about earlier. And now we'll move on to our 6th and final garden. The world is my garden. The owner of this property has actually attended this garden tour for more than 20 years and has always said that one day she would be on this tour, and her day has now come. When they bought their home in 1992, the homeowners separately drew out plans and discovered that they both wanted a pond. Well, it was difficult, and work and family put their dreams on hold. Once the pandemic started in 2020, they had the opportunity to build their pond. They built this pond by gaining inspiration from their many travels, and they planted an assortment of plants, including hibiscus, jasmine, roses, camellias. We'll also see moringa, neem, curry, and bay leaf. There's banana, pear, sapote, pomegranate, and plum trees. And what I thought was unique about this property were the giant shade sails that you could see up there. If you don't have time to wait for a giant tree to grow, you can put up those nice shade sails and give your garden a much needed life. And when you have water, if you keep it shaded, it keeps it much less likely to have algae growth. So that's one tip for people if you are considering adding a pond. They can be a little bit tricky to maintain. In addition to the pond, this house also has a pool, and you can see the influence of the couple's travels. It's just a very unique and gorgeous garden. The world is my garden definitely makes sense for the theme of this garden. The garden also includes a tea house, Reiki garden, succulent garden, river rock bed, greenhouse, vegetable garden, a Mira garden, and the list goes on. It's a gorgeous property and shows you just what you can achieve in an inland garden, such as in Riverside. If you loved this video, please hit the like button on the way out. It really helps the channel. And also watch this video. This is of the City of Roses garden tour that I attended. It has 5 gorgeous gardens that you'll love to tour. And I hope to see you in the next one. Catch you later. Bye.